I want to tell you a story of a time when I was about 8 years old, and I heard my mom calling me from the living room. So dutifully, I walked down the hallway, and I assumed that I had a chore to do. And when I got there, she was standing in the doorway of the living room, and I could see past her my dad sitting on the couch behind the newspaper. And my mom looked down at me, and she said, "Your brother tells me that your dad's been doing things to you. Is that true?" And I said, "Yeah." And she looked at my dad, and she said, "Is that true?" And he says, "I don't know what she's talking about." And he never looked up from the newspaper. Now, when we hear lies, we have a tendency to believe lies about ourselves, about our value, our self-worth, and our identity. And it can really jack us up. And I know that's what it did to me. It really jacked me up. So I did what every good jacked up person should do. I became a licensed marriage and family therapist and an ordained pastor. Yes, I became Pastor Elaine, the professional codependent. Now, after all of my personal therapy and a decade of college and 2 decades of my own private practice, I was frustrated because my clients were getting stuck. And I'm thinking, why? And it was very frustrating. So one day I was sitting on my couch at home just kind of thinking about this. I'm like, why? And I heard 2 words. Would you like to know what they are? Identity abuse. So everybody say that out loud, identity abuse. And I'm like, what is that? What is identity abuse? And I'd heard of sexual abuse and physical abuse, but I'd never heard of identity abuse. And what I realized was that my identity was abused before I was old enough to even know I had an identity. So I lived with a lie because it felt true, and it created a lot of damage in my life. So I went back to my clients and I was explaining to them that they were believing a lie and teaching them all about identity abuse and watching them flourish and grow. And so I created a program called Identity Abuse Busters. And it has 3 main overarching themes. The first one is your uniqueness is super valuable. The second is you're going to be lied to about that every moment of every day. And the third is you can choose. You can choose to believe truth, even when it doesn't feel true. And if you'd like to know more, you can go to pastorelaine.com. And I'm really happy to tell you that 13 years later, when the police came knocking on my door, I was able to stand up to myself and speak the truth, and my dad did go to jail. So I have now become Pastor Elaine, the Identity Abuse Buster. I am proof, and you can be too, when you choose to know that the truth will set you free. Thank you.